Hi, Dav here, and today we have a new episode in the Art Review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of shouz or shouz Kek. Um, I like it's very similar to they're very similar to the previous artist we reviewed, Luny Doobles something. And I think I want to mention another artist from I believe Taiwan. Let me just write it down. Skyfire something. I'm trying to find my list here. You can't see it, it's on the side or on my second monitor, but let me just write their name down. Skyfire. Basically, they're a Taiwanese artist who does a lot of office lady types of illustrations. Like that's the main like subject. So I think it kind of reminded me of that person looking at shows this work. And I think this is him. And hopefully, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but let me just click on this. But recently, he has been drawing himself with his own like characters, and I like it. It's so like it's kind of what we do. You have your own imaginations. But the thing is, you can actually do something about it because you have the skills to show what you're thinking, and I think it's so fun being an artist. And I think shows is a good example of what happens when you give yourself the freedom, the skills to do this. So that's him drawing his girlfriend, his queen. So his character is kind of superimposed on his like photo of himself. So there you go. And I like his style. It's a bit again kind of not too polished, just enough to. And this one's a bit more refined. Well, not really, but I don't know. It's a bit more closer because there are illustrations out there that are so well done that it's kind of hard to relate to, but this feels like an everyday kind of art, but it still looks good. Reminds me of, I guess, Ramon Nunez a little bit. If you look at his work, it's kind of the same thing where, and I think he frequently posts on his Patreon, like every week, I believe. And a lot of his work is sort of this way where it's kind of sketchy, kind of loose, although I think he's a little more experimental. And sometimes he'll vary up his work from like characters to environments and stuff like that, or storyboards. But for shows here, I think he mainly focuses on uh, characters, female characters mainly. And is this a video? So he teases the short girl. That short? Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. Okay, you headbutt them, kind of like a dog. It just looks fun. Looking at their work. Um, oh, she has a gun. Um, and yeah, so he does a lot of these like quick sketch. Are they quick? I mean, they're obviously not super polished, but they still look presentable enough. So this is like a Dan fan art. I forgot the guy's name, the main character. Well, I actually forgot both their names. Jesus. It's a good show, great show, but yeah. I want to zoom in on some of their line work. Let's try this one. Because to me, it looks like, oh. So when let me just focus on the line work first. It is a bit wavy. I don't think they're using some kind of stabilization feature. They sort of allow their hand to shake a bit. Maybe there is a little bit of stabilization, but the point is it's not super like smooth, right? There's a bit of a waviness that's going on. Um, and even in the legs here, in the calves, you will see some lines not even meet. So I think that contributes to that loose ass. Oh shit. She has like a tongue that's split. You know, some people have these done where they're born with like a normal tongue, but they will have it like split, kind of like a snake. And I think it's supposed to feel good. Oh, very interesting concept. Uh, one on the left, you have the more well done or put up sort of look, and then on the right hand side, maybe she's kind of at home, right, lounging in her boxer shorts and the big t-shirt. Yeah, kind of hot actually. You know what? I do prefer the this look more just because it's so like more huggable. Like this one seems, I don't know, kind of like I can't afford it. You know, like if you're on the poor, it's not even like a poor thing. It's more like I feel like I have to be like super done up as well. So maybe that causes some intimidation to happen. But I think this one seems more approachable. Um, and I also wear boxer shorts with big, oversized t-shirts. So it just seems more relatable. Oh, and I like how they drew the pattern too, with the shirt sort of print. Very cool. Oh shit! Reminds me of another artist named Yukina. Hopefully, I'm remembering their name right. They also do a lot of female characters. And they have a similar kind of line work where it's a bit more kind of like this. Um, Although they're a bit more choosy, Yukina, and less jaggedy maybe, but same vibes. Oh, I think this is from the Zen Zero something game. It's the shark woman with like she has like a huge shark tail, and she's in this maid outfit. I think they're using some kind of, it's a flat like for their line work. It's a bit sketchy, but it's not like an opaque black. There is a little bit of opacity, I believe. And they're using this flat brush. You do have to zoom in to be able to actually see it, but and I think it may be fixed perhaps in like one position. So it doesn't have like an angle to it or direction or initial direction in Photoshop or pen tilt. That's my guess, but who knows? The point is they're using a flat brush to do their line work, and their line work is kind of thick in a way. It's not too like pointy or. Oh, I like this one too. Oh, the laces were done in a new layer. You can tell because it has like an outline. I mean, that's from a layer effect. You can do this in Clip Studio Paint, Photoshop, and you can tell the actual like knot is also in its own layer, and above the sort of cross lacing below it. And I like how some lines don't meet, meaning they don't connect. So you do see some spacing here and there. Um, and essentially, you just end up like the viewer themselves fill in the gaps. So that's kind of cool. It's a great way to save time. And it does contribute to your style. You know, not everything has to be described via line, right? For example, for the sweater, yeah, there are some lines here and there, but to illustrate the puffiness of this cardigan, is it a cardigan or some kind of sweater? They have this sort of shadow area that's painted in instead of a. There's no hatching here. There's no like line work. It's just like a painted in, and it's not too far off. Uh, Clearly it's darker, obviously, but it's not so like contrast heavy. I do see a bit of maybe hatching in the back of the hair over here, but that's it. I guess it's the simplified kind of look that's really appealing to me. Yeah, oh, nice dogs. So this one's more of a he smokes, kind of rebellious, kind of mean looking, kind of hot. Um, I'm not sure what this is. Fur demon woman. Ah, must be nice. Both of you being gamers, right? Her thighs in between her freaking sort of encompassing your head or your face or your cheeks. Must be so nice, but yeah, and I love the expressions too. They look so fun and energetic. Uh, Let me just go further down. And when it comes to their, I think I saw in one of their comments because someone mentioned that asking shows here or shows like why did they drop their old style, and he responded by saying he doesn't really have a consistent style, um, and it's kind of a thing in the the art space. Not everyone has a consistent style. Like even though you kind of long for it, like you want to have something to call your own. Every time you show up on your canvas, on your sketchbook, whatever, it just turns out differently usually, and it differs from artwork to artwork. And maybe you would have like a phase where your work becomes somewhat consistent. Oh, let me just look at this process here. But eventually, you will eventually move on to the next thing, and you're not even forcing it. It's kind of like a natural thing. So okay, so we have a basic sketch, and again, look at how the line work is done. It's not fully like it doesn't meet. Like you see some spacing here and there, right? Basically, the lines don't always connect, and that's something I've noticed from artists who don't just rely on line work, meaning they have to color it eventually while still keeping some of those lines. Again, let's mention the previous artist we reviewed, Luny Doobles. Let me just write it down in my notes. Doobles, right? Okay, so from here they added the shadows, or essentially this they split it into two values. They added the highlighted part here in the face. Let me just use my pen instead of my mouse. There you go. Now, when it comes to this light source, it's kind of highly exposed. It's basically almost white at this point, and I'm noticing some maybe color dodge or soft light in these areas using a soft brush to give this slight gradient, right? Okay. And then this is the paint over. Once you have some atmosphere going here, you paint over it with some like pastel colors maybe, and then the refinement. Notice how the eyes weren't even fully drawn in. It's just the outside, but everything in between was drawn later after this second stage. That's pretty cool, and it looks good. Yeah, there's some parts that are painted, but they still left in these. It's kind of line work, but it's not typical line work where it's like super opaque or tight, or like it's in every single like shape. There's a bit of like spacing between. It's not always there, like it's supposed to be like it's not, it can't stand on its own as well, like it's supposed to go along with some colors or some paint overs. But and yeah, as you go further back, the style just keeps changing even more. But again, as you go more into their recent work, you will see a lot more. Like if you average it out, you do see a bit of that refinement in their style, some kind of common thread or consistency. Uh, Let me check this one out. He's having a peek. He realizes it. And then he looks away. Come on. Right? Is the line work so tight? No, it's kind of sketchy, but the story is there. And that's what I like about these types of approaches. The narrative is what's more important. Let me just watch this. Oh, wow. Okay, I guess it's because it's his first time where he's not used to interacting with the female species, right? Um, it's so weird that I get you've never seen a hot woman before, but do you really have to act like a complete child? Like, come on, it's a comic. Don't take it seriously, bruv. Hopefully, someone mentions it. Oh, there's an argument going on here. So maybe it's from a skit. Oh, hey, do you know what a joke is? There you go. I'm gonna like this one. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments here. So some say it's based on a video or some kind of skit, but the point is, I don't understand why you get comments like this where it's so like you take it literally or seriously. Like, come on, you won't know this, but I do get easily triggered when I see comments like that, especially when it concerns artwork where like you don't have to agree with it, but it's the immediate sort of like you take it seriously. Like no abstract thought is being like abstract thought is not happening. It's all like literally taken into like as fact, you know? Like you don't have any creative liberty to just play around and fool around. And to me it's bad vibes, you know, bad vibes. You know, sometimes I get comments like that, and not well. Sometimes it's targeted towards me, but sometimes it's the actual artists that I review, and I'm like, "Are you dense?" Anyway, cool art. If you're shows and you're listening to this, don't listen to these types of people. You have a lot of supporters, and just look at your following. It's like you're pretty close to 50K at this point. So just keep at it. Oh shit, they have a sketch account as well, so check that out. Um, and yeah, the artwork. Oh, even the way they did the profile picture, you can tell they used a flat brush to sketch it out. It reminds me of another artist named Emilio Dekure. I'm gonna write him down, just because of I think he also likes using a flat brush to draw his line work, and his line work is kind of like this, where it's a bit thick. So let me just write his name. Emilio Dekure, and he has a good set of tutorials on how to simplify like human anatomy. So I think you and he also does like he does use references, but he knows how to sort of simplify it, and he does have like an anime style as well, especially for obviously the face. But going back to the body, the way he has a good way of simplifying it. So I do recommend Emilio's work as well. I guess that's it for this art review of shows over here. Super fun. I like it. Hopefully his followers go up even more. And yeah, I will link this page in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.